Prime Minister, the Right Honorable Dr. Hubert Minnis, Minister of Environment and Housing, Mr. Romel Ferrero, Chairman of the Board, Mr. Patrick Ward, other board members, other staff, other invited guests, welcome. I would like to welcome you to the official opening of the Bahamas Mortgage Corporation new head office on East Hill Street. To start, I would like to welcome to the podium board member Reverend Dr. Leon Apollos Wallace to open us up in prayer, please.
Let us pray. Gracious and all-wise God, we pause at this hour to give you thanks for the great. We thank you for strength. We thank you for this opportunity that we have to say thank you. We thank you, Lord, for these facilities. And we ask your blessings upon the procedures here today. Have fervency, conduct the business of your great people. We ask you to bless us now.
Up next, I would like to introduce and welcome our chairman, Mr. Patrick Ward, chairman of the Bahamas Mortgage Corporation.
Thank you very much, Mr. Haven, our managing director, who's been doing a fantastic job ever since he took office, and we appreciate everything you do for us. The protocol having been established, I will just jump right into my brief remarks and start off by saying that the year was 1983. That's some 336 years after William Sale and a group of exiled Puritans seeking Eleuthera or freedom to worship arrived in the Bahamas. And about 10 years after the former Bahama colonies were officially made independent in a new Commonwealth of the Bahamas. That an act of Parliament establishing the Bahamas Mortgage Corporation created a new freedom for a significant number of Bahamians, the freedom of home ownership. It provided a stake in the ground, increased wealth, created equity for individuals who otherwise could not access the capital to own their own home. Today, some 37 years later, home ownership remains the cornerstone of the Bahamian ideal, and the Bahamas Mortgage Corporation continues to make sustainable home ownership a reality for Bahamian families. While prudently allocating funds to finance new mortgages in the future. Further, BMC's operating and administrative expenses, as well as the bond sinking funds, continue to be maintained in a current status without assistance from the government. We are one of the few government state-owned enterprises that do not receive a subvention from the Bahamas government. Over nearly 4 decades, we have helped over 5,000 Bahamians across the country to become homeowners. Quite frankly, it's an investment in the future of 5,000 Bahamians. The current value of our mortgage portfolio is over $175 million, and we employ 66 staff members in New Providence, Grand Bahama, and Abaco. Admittedly, applications for mortgage loans remain a challenge as most Bahamians are heavily debt burdened or require a co-applicant. However, every effort is made to ascertain the true financial obligations of loan applicants and to offer the best available option for qualified candidates. This sometimes proves to be difficult given the absence of a formal credit reporting agency, although this problem will eventually fade into the past as the credit reporting agency comes fully online. Notwithstanding this reality, improvements have been made in the application process, with most applications being approved within 14 days, a timeline which we will reduce to 3 days once the new loan origination portal is installed within the second quarter of 2021. This year, we signed a contract with the accounting firm BDO Bahamas, commencing November of 2020, to perform all outstanding independent external audits going back to 2014 to present. That's right, I said 2014 to present. There were significant delays in having these audits carried out due to the absence of accounting information and inadequate systems and controls. Recognizing these critical issues, the board mandated a complete restructuring about the accounting and finance departments and engaged the accounting firm of Baker Tilly to assist in this process. This restructuring exercise is still ongoing, but we are confident that the outstanding external audits can commence and be completed by Q3 of 2021. Our relocation to this new facility today is part of BMC's strategic goal to become one of the premier mortgage lending institutions in the Bahamas. Other elements of our strategic plan developed by BMC under the guidance of this board and the senior management team will allow customers to have a smoother application process, including faster approvals and disbursements. Today is another milestone or promise delivered. I would like to personally thank my fellow board members, as well as the executives, the officers, and the entire staff for their efforts in making this special event possible. We have a long tradition of making a difference. It started with the commitment to affordable housing, and this has made home ownership possible for thousands of Bahamians over the years. As we embark on our next chapter in this new environment, both our physical environment and economic environment, we remain focused on delivering accessible mortgage solutions and building a world-class institution that is dedicated to meeting the needs of Bahamians and the broader Commonwealth of the Bahamas. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Ward. I would also like to personally thank both Mr. Ward and the board members for the role they play in allowing the Bahamas Mortgage Corporation to now occupy this facility, as well as to assist with cleaning up a lot of the outstanding work that we have to do. Thank you, board members. Up next, I'm going to have the Minister of the Environment and Housing, Mr. Romel Ferrero, to come forward and give us some remarks.
Prime Minister of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas, the Most Honorable Dr. Hubert Alexander Minnis, members of the board, ladies and gentlemen, members of the Bahamas Mortgage Corporation, members of the press corps, distinguished guests, good afternoon. Upon coming to office, and one of my first ministerial acts was to table in Parliament the resolution conveying this land to the Bahamas Mortgage Corporation. And this is an indication of the importance the Minnis administration has placed on providing housing and homes for the Bahamian people. Every single person you see today is going to need somewhere to sleep this evening. Every single person, including the persons here on this podium and the persons within the sound of my voice. And as we've been saying from the very onset, none of this is going to make sense unless the financing is right. None of it. And this is where the Bahamas Mortgage Corporation comes into play. And this is why it's been so very, very important to us at the Ministry of Environment and Housing. Because we know that the kind of flexibility, the kind of humanity, the kind of kindness extended by the Bahamas Mortgage Corporation to potential homeowners is not going to be shown by any other lending institution. We understand that. We understand the importance of putting the Bahamas Mortgage Corporation on a good footing, a solid financial footing, where it can make good loans, it can correct and collect its arrears, and it can provide affordable housing. And this is exactly what happened. And they've done it before, where they've developed homes for resale, like in the Queen's Park redevelopment. But the most important thing about today is that this is a long time in coming. You have completely outgrown your old space. I don't think you had one more inch in there for one more body. But here you are today in wonderful surroundings. And this is made that much more important by two factors of which we're very proud of. First of all, if you look around you, you'll see that the downtown area is being transformed right in front of your eyes. You'll see that this strip is being transformed right in front of your eyes. The US Embassy is rising out of the ground, the post office is coming down, and a new central bank will be here before you know it. And the Bahamas Mortgage Corporation has led the way. As a matter of fact, I noticed some of your neighbors doing repairs and renovations because what you've done is raised the standard. And you've restored an historical building to its rightful prominence and place in our society. And I congratulate you for it. But this is only the first phase, because we look for you to walk hand in hand with us as we unveil Carmichael Village, its first phase, and bring those service lots online, on commission, and those persons are going to need mortgages. And that's going to happen very, very shortly. And we invite and encourage those linkages. So I just want to congratulate all of the hardworking staff members of the Bahamas Mortgage Corporation and its officers and members, and let you know that we at the Ministry of Environment and Housing, we're here to serve you. We take your needs seriously, and we want to empower you. So congratulations. I now invite you to please be upstanding as I welcome to the podium the Prime Minister of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas, the Most Honorable Dr. Hubert Alexander Millis.
Thank you very much, Romy. You can all be seated. Romy, first of all, allow me to thank you for establishing protocol. But I do want to recognize the Permanent Secretary, Mr. Patrick Ward, the Chairman, and of course, Mr. Philip Haven, the Managing Director. And I could not and definitely will not forget the most humble gentleman, Apostle Wallace. Thank you for being here. Ladies and gentlemen, members of the press, good afternoon. Since the establishment of the Bahamas Mortgage Corporation in 1983, BMC has stimulated, encouraged, and promoted Bahamian home ownership by providing over 5,000 Bahamians with funding for homes. The corporation has clients in New Providence, Grand Bahama, Abaco, Andres, Bimini, Cat Island, Exuma, and San Salvador. For some time, BMC has sought a new location and its own premises, befitting its growth over the past 37 years and its mission for a 21st century Bahamas. After many fits and starts, the corporation now has a permanent, new, and beautiful home here on East Hill Street. The new headquarters is the site of the historic East Hill Club. The property is said to have been developed in the early 1800s by Welsman Thomas Matthews, a lawyer who was a colonial police magistrate. It changed hands to newspaper proprietor James Gomer Berry, and during his ownership, it became the East Hill Club. The property was later sold to American S.K. Wellman, and was later purchased by the Bahamas government to serve as the home of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs until they vacated offices in 2010. The property was conveyed to the BMC by an act of Parliament in 2016. The renovation and extension began in 2017. The refurbishment and revitalization of the premises included restoring the historical character of the original building and new construction to extend the structure to house the needs of the corporation. This included internal renovations, retrofits, and upgrades to the current building codes, including handicap accessibility. The renovated building comprises of 4 floors and an area of 18,600 square feet. Ladies and gentlemen, the new and refurbished premises for the BMC symbolizes the corporation's revitalization as it enters a new era in serving potential homeowners. The corporation is currently able to sustain its expenses. It has reduced the amount of time it takes to process application, as was mentioned by the chairman. In the aftermath of Hurricane Dorian, BMC assisted its clients by waiving payments on the affected islands. And during the COVID-19 pandemic, it has waived payments to clients adversely affected by this present pandemic. BMC is implementing strategies to repay outstanding bonds and is currently servicing all bonds and interest payments. The corporation is developing strategies along with the Ministry of Environment and Housing to assist with more home ownership on more islands in our country. The Mortgage Corporation is also creating a new customer service platform to further establish the corporation as a leading mortgage institution in the Bahamas. Ladies and gentlemen, architecture is about more than functionality. It is also about the soul of a people. It is about the creative imagination of a country, community, and most of all, its culture. Beautiful architecture enhances a city's landscape and cultural richness. And today's ceremony is an example or harbinger of good times to come in the ongoing revitalization of downtown Nassau. And this revitalization is gathering pace and will begin to reach greater critical mass in the next 2 years and beyond. The development projects for downtown Nassau include the new U.S. Embassy, which has already broken ground, and this is a $318 million major project. And as you can see, the demolition of the old post office right next door has begun. And a new Supreme Court complex will eventually be built on that site. The building on the site of the old Queen Victoria Hotel will be demolished shortly. And in that space, an iconic central bank building will rise. It will be a major landmark in the city of Nassau. At St. George's Wharf, we are embarked on a $250 million major project to develop what will become the world-renowned and new Nassau cruise port, which will be one of the best such cruise ports in the region. The Nassau cruise port will be a gateway to the city of Nassau, including historic over-the-hill communities such as Bain and Grantstown. Government House is going through significant renovations, and over time, its building and gardens will be refurbished and beautiful. And very soon, you will be able to review and view a rendition of the new Cabinet Office that will replace the existing Cabinet Office as it is demolished in the Rawson Square vicinity. As I noted in February 2017, the redevelopment of Prince George Wharf, the new Supreme Court complex and supporting offices, and the new Central Bank will boast the revitalization, renewal, and restoration of downtown. Last week, one of the new Southern Recreation Grounds was opened, just phase 1 of the Southern Recreation Ground. And the tax-free zone had likewise been extended to include this East Hill area. So this building, including the new Supreme Court that is to be built next door on the old post office site, will be a part of the new tax zone as we move forward. And just yesterday, while traveling to Cabinet, I stopped at the Southern Recreation Ground and was happy to see that there were about 30 young boys enjoying the new facilities, basketball courts, etc. And I was even more than happy to see that there were many mothers with their children who were utilizing all the new facilities on that court. And of course, they challenged me to a basketball game, but I informed them that I was not in the mood at that particular time to beat any of them, as I had an emergency meeting. All of these projects combined are valued at approximately $1 billion. And the new Mortgage Corp building is a fitting example of the ongoing revitalization of the city of New Providence. Congratulations on being a part of the city of Nassau, this beautiful landscape which will continue to unfold in the years ahead. So ladies and gentlemen, let me end by thanking all of those who made today a reality, including Chairman Patrick Ward and the BMC board, as well as Managing Director Mr. Phil Haven and his staff. I particularly thank the contractors and all of the men and women who worked on this beautiful edifice. I wish the staff and clients of the BMC all of the best as you work together to provide more Bahamians with the opportunity to own their own home. May God bless the work of the Bahamas Mortgage Corporation, and may God continue to bless the Commonwealth of Bahamas. But before I close, I would like to remind all Bahamians that we are still experiencing and undergoing the pandemic, which is here today, COVID-19, and we must continue to adhere to the protocols as was established by the medical personnel. I wish to thank all of those Bahamians who have been participating and following the protocols. I also want to advise all Bahamians that next week is Thanksgiving and very soon is Christmas. We must not let our guards down. We must continue our social distancing and wearing of masks. We must follow the advice even of the CDC from the United States of America, who has advised its citizens to minimize the participation in Thanksgiving dinner, and they advise that They should participate only within their homes as opposed to traveling at others, because this can assist in spreading the COVID disease. Advise Bahamians who participate in Thanksgiving to do the same. They should participate in their own home environment, as was said by the Center for Disease Control, and minimize their travels to partake with others. As rather than giving your friends, neighbors, or colleagues a gift of Christmas, you may possibly give them a gift of COVID, which can be extremely dangerous and detrimental. I would also advise all Bahamians who want and who have made arrangements to travel to our neighbors in the north. I would advise that only those that are of emergency and absolutely essential to travel, because the virus has no boundaries. The virus can be brought back to our shores and thus destroy our Christmas. Not only that, but our hotels are about to open. The virus can commence a third surge within our Commonwealth, and that third surge can be worse than the second surge, and it may result in further stagnation of our economy, as our hotels, which are already making plans and preparation to open, and our young people, thousands of them who are already making plans and preparation to commence employment, they too can be compromised and not being able to start their work. There's light on the horizon in that there are multiple vaccines that are being developed. We must still not allow our guards down, but we must still practice the protocols that were established and await the vaccine, as that would help to resolve a lot of the problems that we see today. But if we want a beautiful Christmas, then I would advise that we follow the protocols and do not let our guards down, and minimize any travel that you have to our northern neighbors, but try to utilize our travels within the Bahamas. We have beautiful islands, and it's only the guests, visitors, and tourists who recognize the beauty of the Bahamas. Many want to come, and I am certain that those in the family islands would welcome you. Many of our islands are COVID-free. Let us utilize the services there. And I also want to thank the businesses here in the Bahamas who has been very cooperative and responsive in ensuring that our protocols were followed. So I thank you very much, and may God continue to bless the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. Thank you again.
I would just like to say on behalf of the 66 staff in New Providence, Grand Bahama, and Abaco, thank you, Mr. Prime Minister, for those very encouraging and exciting words. I promise you that we will live up to those, and we will become the premier mortgage lending institution in the Bahamas. Also, thank you, Minister, as well as Chairman. I would like for us to proceed to the front of the building so that we could partake in the official ribbon cutting. I would ask that the press go ahead in advance of that. Thank you.